A lot of people keep asking me about the phone interviews and everything. Let's talk about that. So what is the best way to prepare for your phone interview when being contacted by Walt Disney World? Well, for starters, make sure that you're awake at least half an hour beforehand of the interview. That way you won't be stressing out or sounding like you just woke up. Find yourself a quiet area where you can conduct said interview. And, well, since my family's asleep, I probably should go into my quiet place. Hopefully without sliding down my driveway. Make sure that when you're going to get ready to do your phone interview, your phone is fully charged and has an adequate enough amount of bars that you won't lose the signal halfway through your interview. If you are going to decide to use your car for the phone interview and for some reason your house suddenly becomes a dead zone before the interview, take notice and if need be, go find better signal because this is one phone call that you are not going to want to drop. Trust me. I am on my way, I am barely awake, gonna take this interview, somehow I know word that rhymes with how, I'll do okay, 'cause I've been there before, and I'll find my answers lying right in my laptop. Signal's getting stronger, and Buzz Lightyear is staying trawnier. Oh man, it's gonna snow today. It's also a very good idea that if you're going to be getting ready to do your interview, that you have on your computer or printed out a list of what the roles are that you have applied for, as well as a brief description. That way, in case you have any questions, you can do a quick look back to, just in case you get a little confused or have to rely on something. Which is completely okay. Cheat codes, however, don't necessarily apply to said phone interviews, but having an easy reference point is something to look forward to. If you happen to have any type of a test anxiety, it is perfectly okay to try to go through some like breathing exercises when you're in your interview. And there's also the advice of making sure that when you're doing your interview to smile, because by smiling into yourself, you're able to project a positive voice in the interview, which will make yourself confident and make the recruiter confident that you know what it is that you're talking about. My remedy for this is I usually turn Rock Band on, start rocking out to Won't Get Fooled Again, blaring as much as it is. But however, since it's 7 a.m. and I'm not able to do that, I'm actually going to start playing it on my laptop. And for the record, Robbie Hurst, you're awesome. Thank you for texting me and wishing me luck. I've done the interview before. I feel confident. And we'll see how this goes. So, yeah. So that is my tips on how it is to prepare yourself for the phone interview. Just be calm, be honest to yourself, be honest to the recruiter. If they ask you a question that you don't know, obviously going, it's not going to be as strong as, well, this is what I would do in that situation. However, since maybe it's not my area of expertise, like if you were asked, if you're going for, say, character attendant as your role of choice, or it was in one of your bottom ones, and they asked you a question about it that you did not feel as comfortable. It is perfectly okay to look back on an experience that you were at the parks and you saw a character attendant handling the situation, being like, well, I believe that if I were in that situation, this is how I would react, based on what it is I saw somebody else do. Now, granted, that might make you look a little weak because you're relying on somebody else's activities. It does mean that you are attentive and you've been able to see what it is other people have done. Now, most phone interviews, I've heard from people who have been doing the fall intern interviews so far, most interviews they say take about 20 to 30 minutes. However, most people are going on the lesser end of that, about 16 to 18. Now, if your interview is less than 20 minutes, that does not necessarily mean that you need to freak out and be like, oh God, they didn't want me. That's not necessarily the case. It just means that if you are showing a proficiency in a specific role, why would they want to obviously ask you about roles that you may not be as comfortable or well suited for, and they might already have their mind made up that they want you in a specific role. Like, for example, my friend Brandon explained to me about his interview process. He has been a lifeguard for a number of years. His interview was basically tailored, explain to me lifeguarding, and that was basically it. And he's going to be going down on Wednesday and starting his college program as a lifeguard for Walt Disney World. So just because the interview seems short to you, it does not necessarily mean that you did not get the role. Any minute now, my phone's going to start ringing. How much battery do I have? Okay, so I have 42 minutes of battery left on my flip cam, so technically if I decide to record my entire interview, that should go down. However, I will not put it on speakerphone. No, I'm not going to do that because I do not have the permission of Walt Disney World, as well as I do not have the permission of my recruiter to do that, and technically it could just be seen as bad on my part. Or maybe I'll just do a wrap-up of this. I don't know. People are looking at me weird because I'm talking to a video camera in a rec center parking lot. Sue me. It's got better reception than my house. Oh shit, it's ringing! This is him. Mm-hmm. I do not know. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Linda. I will. Alright, bye. And that is how you do a phone interview. Now I have to wait 3 to 4 weeks to get either an email or a package in the mail, which will actually be putting this, if it's actually on the lower end, right when I'm down in my trip to Florida. So that will be interesting to see how that works. So anyway, that is the phone interview. Yeah, basically they asked me a lot of questions about my experiences within the Disney College program. Roles that I was able to kind of go about. They basically asked me, they didn't ask me situation specifics, like if you were on this ride and this happened, how would you react? It was more of kind of more generalized. And I think that they tailored that because I've done the college program before and I'm not necessarily a new person, so they would be able to see how it is. However, they did ask about Chef Mickey's, whether or not, what was my roles, what did I perform, XYZ. So anyway, that's the phone interview. I will now be doing probably a waiting video. However, you won't be seeing this until I decide to. So anyway, it's 8:30. I'm going back to... Yeah, that was a long interview. Now with that out of the way, I'm going back to bed. Leave comments and all that stuff, and don't hate me for not showing this to you guys sooner. So, just to give everybody a heads up, after you apply, make sure that you check your spam folder regularly. Otherwise, you miss stuff like this. I'm going to Disney World.